Bring in Hyma and Kevin Sheridan now. Hyma is a principal for Cornerstone Public Affairs and formerly served as the director of the Office of DNC Chair. Kevin is a Republican strategist and was a spokesperson for the RNC. A warm Monday morning to you both. Kevin, let's start with you. As we just heard there from Caitlin, Platner remains popular with many of the voters in Maine despite the scandal. So might the Republican focus on the scandals actually fire up his supporters, similar to the way indictments did for the MAGA base and Mr. Trump?
That remains to be seen. But look, this is either the iceberg or the tip of the iceberg with revelations around this guy's past. I think we're going to wait until July, the date where it's really hard to get out of the race, to find out what the NRSC is holding or what other independent outside groups have found on this guy. The Maine Wire up there has been really good about reporting on this, that he's basically a pathological liar. His oyster business seems to be fake. His background seems to be sketchy in a lot of regards. But I think you're going to see a dump later this summer that is going to make it these look, quaint in comparison, because there's just a lot more there, I think.
Okay, so Kevin says stay tuned on this front. Hyma, Platner also took a jab at Democratic Senator John Fetterman last night, and this is after Fetterman came after him last week. Who exactly does this Democratic infighting help?
Hey, Errol, good to see you, and thanks for having me on again. Look, I'm not sure who it helps right now. Look, John Fetterman, a senator from Pennsylvania, has his own issues that he's going to have to contend with when deciding to run for re-election in this next cycle. And so I think, like it's been told on the ground in Maine, Maine voters are going to have to make their own decision about their senator. And Susan Collins, as you guys know, is the last Republican that's elected in a blue state. And so there's already an uphill battle for her re-election. And I think Democrats are still excited about that prospect. But look, these allegations are very concerning if they're true or not. But I think what's going to happen over the next couple of days, we're going to see Graham Platner is going to become the nominee. And then as things progress, we'll see what happens. But the state Democratic Party still has the right, if he were to drop out, to appoint a new candidate to take on Susan Collins. And so this is far from over. But I do think Maine voters are starting to make their voices heard, and they want this to be a Maine election, not a national election. And so we will see tomorrow just how well Mr. Platner does.
I want to ask you both about what's happening in Los Angeles right now. The primary for the mayor's race is underway. The president is accusing Democrats of cheating in that race, and when pressed on it by NBC recently, he ended the interview. Let's just watch that.
They're cheating on the election.
Do you have evidence to support
all
that?
All I have to do is look. All I have to do is look.
That's not evidence.
And I listen to people, and let's see what happens.
But, sir, that's not evidence.
Do you think it's appropriate?
That's how they count the votes in California.
Do you think it's appropriate that they have an election, and 5 days later they're nowhere close to picking a winner?
State and local officials acknowledge they are slow. They're urging.
No, they're crooked.
They're urging the votes.
You ought to straighten out your press, because you know what?
Mr.
A country can never be great with a dishonest press.
Listen, we traveled all the way to Wisconsin.
You could also hear the weather in the background. It was inclement there. Kevin, what did you make of the president's reaction?
Well, this is an issue he feels strongly about, clearly. He's been talking about it for years. But look, there's no question this is shameful behavior on the, it's a shameful policy for California and L.A. to not be able to count their votes. India can count 600 million votes in a day. Florida could just go in there and fix their voting system anytime they'd ask for help. There's other red states that do this very quickly. Minutes after the polls close, we know the winners of those states. That's a policy choice. This is not just incompetence. They chose to do it this way. It undermines everybody's confidence in democracy, in the voting, in the process. So they need to get some help immediately, because this is not good. It's 6 days later, and we still are only at 80%. That's crazy.
And Hyma, what do you make of it? The expectation was that it would take a week or so for these votes to be properly tallied.
Yeah, look, I think we all wish that these votes would come in a little bit sooner, a little bit quicker. But look, there's been no real legitimate understanding that there is any cheating or anything illegal happening in these elections. I think every vote will be counted. I am very happy that this is going to be a fair election for the citizens of LA. And now that you have a very clear two individuals who really care about this city and who are very serious about talking about issues that matter, not just reality star television stars. And so I think it's going to happen as quickly as possible. Look, we're still watching what's happening on the gubernatorial side. I think that's going to be a hot issue going forward. But look, every vote's going to be counted, and this is going to be an election that's going to be highly watched over the next few weeks.
All right, Kevin Sheridan and Hyma Moore, we appreciate your insight this Monday morning. Thanks for being with us.
Good to see you.